Tecno released 3 devices in the Pova 6 series this year: the Pova 6, 6 Neo, and 6 Pro 5G. As of right now, here in Nigeria, they only released the 6 Neo. I've had it with me for about 2 weeks now, and what I would say is 7,000 mAh is no joke. Okay, so we're going to talk about its battery life a little later in the video, but first I thought we should start with this phone's design. It's quite peculiar. It has this gaming phone vibe to it, kind of like the ROG phone, and frankly, I think you're either going to love it or hate it. So which camp do you belong to? Let me know in the comments. Personally, I think the design is pretty nice. My only gripe is that they went with a glossy finish. So like every few minutes, I find myself wiping, to get rid of fingerprint marks and smudges. Not very ideal. Another thing you would notice is that this phone isn't small. It's quite tall and also thick, but surprisingly not too heavy. It definitely has a bit of weight to it, but it's not too heavy where it's a problem. To the right of the phone, you'd find the power and volume buttons. The power button doubles as a fingerprint sensor, and although the volume buttons are quite small, they're very clicky. On the left, you'd find the SIM and SD card tray. It's the regular type, so you can have 2 SIMs and an SD card. At the bottom, there's the headphone jack, microphone, USB-C port, and 1 of 2 speakers. The other speaker is up top. Apparently, these speakers are the first speakers on a Tecno phone to be equipped with Dolby Atmos. But as far as how they sound, they're fine. The Pova 6 Neo also has an IP53 rating, so it's water and splash resistant. You should never put your phone in water though. For its display, it's 6.78 inches, it's 120Hz, it's LCD, and it's 1080p. In terms of specs on paper, this is fine. Of course, if it was AMOLED, not LCD, that would have made this display perfect. But I think only the Galaxy A15 4G and 5G come with an AMOLED display, but their refresh rates are much lower at 60Hz and I think 90Hz. So I think Tecno had to choose between 120Hz and AMOLED. They chose 120Hz. But yeah, that's on paper. What about in the real world? Well, I've used this smartphone to watch movies and YouTube videos, and I can tell you right away that it looks fine. It's sharp and has good colors too. Nothing to complain about. When you take the smartphone outdoors though, you'll struggle to use it under direct sunlight. It maxes out at 500 nits of brightness. So I guess you could complain about that. While I was outside, I also tested the cameras. There are 2 of them, a 50 megapixel main camera and an 8 megapixel selfie camera. These are some of the shots I took, so do let me know what you think of them. But for me, I personally feel that they're kind of soft. Color looks good, HDR also looks good, but I think it lacks a bit of detail, especially with the selfie camera. I'll probably rate these photos a C+. For video, it's kind of the same story. It has good colors, has pretty good stabilization, but isn't too detailed. But yeah, like I would always say, try to give the camera as much light as possible and you can get pretty decent results. Do let me know what you think of the video quality down in the comments. So you clearly wouldn't be buying the 6 Neo for its cameras, but you could be buying it for its performance. You see, the Pova 6 Neo uses the Helio G99 Ultimate processor. And in this budget smartphone category, that's like the best you can get. And I think that's why a ton of other smartphones also use this processor. It would easily handle any basic smartphone tasks you throw at it. And then for RAM and storage, you get 8 and 256 gigs respectively. And yes, RAM can be extended to 16 with virtual RAM. Now, although I said performance could be a reason you buy this smartphone, personally, I feel the main reason to buy this smartphone would be its battery life. Like I said in the intro of this video, this comes with a massive 7,000 mAh battery. So for us average users, this could last for 2 days, even more. I watched Netflix for about 2.5 hours and I lost about 15% of the battery. So when we do the math, that's about 14-ish hours of battery life if you're just streaming videos. If you're gaming, it's a little lower at around 10 hours. And Tecno is saying if you're just calling, just making phone calls, it could last for 39 hours. So insanely good battery life. There's really nothing to complain about. Where I've seen people complain about though is with charging. You see, the 6 Neo supports up to 33 watts of wired fast charging. 33 watts isn't insanely fast. I think it takes about 2 hours to fill up this phone. So I guess I get why people are complaining. But considering this phone lasts the entire day, you're only going to be charging at night when you're going to bed. So does it really matter? Because in the end, you're just going to wake up the next morning and see that it's full. You wouldn't know how long it took to charge. But then again, it doesn't hurt to get faster charging. So Tecno, if you're listening, maybe give us faster charging. The 6 Neo also comes with some battery protection features to help maintain battery health after you've, charged and discharged for months and even years later. Lastly, this phone comes with iOS 14 on top of Android 14. I've noticed that some app icons have been redesigned slightly. There are also new wallpapers. I love new wallpapers. We also have lock screen customization and a little bit of Material U integration, which is nice. There's also the search feature in the AI gallery. You simply type in a keyword that describes the photo you're looking for, and then it tries its best to find images that match your search. It's not 100% accurate, but it's cool when it works. And then of course, we can't forget dynamic port. You can see it now when you're using the voice recorder app. But yeah, that's like the main gist of the Pova 6 Neo. It has a very interesting design, maybe even polarizing. It has good display, good performance, average cameras, and best of all, world-class battery life. It's currently priced at $237,000. And for that price, it's another good budget smartphone you could consider, especially if you want a phone with really, really good battery life. But yeah, of course, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you when you see me.